Are you enticed by the beautiful weather and high-paying jobs in California? Well, wait, before you make a decision to move here, you better listen to these 10 facts. Hi, I'm Theresa Wellman with Homeowner Experience Real Estate, and I'm a realtor here in San Jose, California. And today we're talking about 10 facts that you should know before moving to California because they might turn you away if you don't know these facts. So number one is the cost of living. Yes, it is high here in California, but did you know it is 50% higher or 150% of the national average? Yeah, it is quite a bit more expensive, that is for sure. Statewide, homes cost over $840,000 on average. Now, if you're in the Bay Area, it's even higher than that, well over $1 million for sure. And if you're looking to rent a house, nothing fancy, maybe a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, under 2,000 square feet, you could easily expect to spend $3,500 to $4,000 or even $5,000 a month if you're looking in the Bay Area. So yes, housing is expensive. Fact number two, auto insurance is really high. If you look here at bankrate.com, we're comparing auto insurance all over California, and the average cost is $2,291 a year. But if you break it down by city, there are many areas and cities that can be much higher than that. And that adds an additional $190 a month to that expensive housing into your budget to live in California. Number three is we have high fuel prices here. Yes, that is another expense that you have to calculate into your cost of living here in California. And the end of 2023 are well over $5 a gallon to buy fuel in this area. And the cost of fuel in California is so much higher because we have strict environmental laws, no direct pipeline, the refineries have had issues in the local area. And so all of these items add additional costs to California, as well as our state adds taxes for roads into the fuel cost. Here is a chart of California gas prices versus US gas prices. And as you can see, there's always a big delta between the national average and California. So yes, expect to pay more for your fuel. Point number four is the traffic. In California, commutes are big and traffic is something that is part of daily life. There is very minimal public transportation, so pretty much everyone owns a car. So again, not only is that an added expense with fuel and auto insurance, but it is an added expense to own or to pay for a monthly car payment. Now in San Jose area where I work, the commute is pretty long and extensive, and 75% of people own their own car. There's about 11% who carpool. So if you look here at the commute time for work, you see that there is a huge proportion of people that are spending close to 30 minutes, if not more, 30 to 35 on their commute. So easily a huge chunk of your day, about an hour of your day commuting back and forth. So be aware of that and the extra expense that we talked about. So if you're paying $3,500 a month on housing, $190 on auto insurance, $300 on your car payment, plus $150 on gas, well, that's a $640 extra expense for having a car on top of your housing expenses. So right there, you're gonna need to earn over $4,000 a month just to get by with some basic necessities. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about the salary or the amount of money you need to live in this area. Point number five is healthcare is also relatively expensive. Now here, California doesn't stand out as one of the top, thank goodness, but we are definitely in the middle of the range. It ranks number 32 on the list of the nation for healthcare expenses, so definitely not the most affordable. As you can see by this map here, actually South Dakota is the worst for health insurance for some reason. And the darker the blue, the more expensive. So we're about mid-range here in California, ranking number 32 with the average healthcare cost of about $9,600 a year. So it again adds additional expense to living here in California. Now you may say, well, I'm considering moving to California because the wages are so much higher. And yes, that is completely true. Here's what the average wages in California are over the last several years and the predictions going into 2025. So many people here will earn over 6 figures in just a couple years, but the cost of living is so significantly much higher that it's not necessarily in proportion to those higher incomes. So it's really important that you understand for you what your income will be and where you will be living in what part of California to see if those numbers will balance out or not. Point number 7 is taxes. California has a lot of taxes. We've got state income tax. There's even taxes for millionaires. There is high sales tax. Did you know that the average in San Jose or in California is over 7%? But in Santa Clara County and the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, where the jobs are even higher paid, we're paying over 9% in sales tax. So yes, there is a lot of taxes to be aware of, as well as property taxes that you, if you're owning a property, are going to have to pay. So all of these taxes really add up that most Californians are paying on average about 40% of their income in taxes. Ouch. So if you're taking those bare minimum costs of $4,400 and then applying just the tax rate, you're gonna have to make quite a bit more money in order just to break even, and that's not leaving any extra funds. So as you can see, the cost of living here is quite significant, and it's something that you really need to calculate and understand. Point number 8 is there are higher crime rates in California. Now, the concentration of that tends to be in the bigger cities. Which cities are worse? Well, here's a list from Legal Jobs site that talks about the violent crime rates through different cities throughout California. As you can see, where I am in San Jose or the Bay Area is not listed on this top 10, but there are several areas in Southern California that are listed, or even in Central California, which is a little cheaper living, that are making this big top list. So check out the crime rates for the area you're looking and considering, and definitely factor that into your decision as well. Point number 9 is the homelessness problem. California has for sure put a lot of money towards this. Actually, $17.5 billion over the last 4 years, according to CNN, which is a lot of money. But despite that, the homelessness and houseless people on the streets has continued to grow. It is a big problem that we are trying to address here in California. But because of the temperate weather, it's a little bit easier for people to live on the streets, and therefore you're seeing that more in the societies around here. So please consider that as another thing that you might want to be aware of before moving to California. And point number 10 are natural disasters. California is a little bit more extremes weather. Now, we definitely don't get as high of temperature or as cold of temperature as many other areas in the country. But there are extreme enough temperatures with a high drought, not very much rain. And when we do get a lot of rain, sometimes it causes mudslides or landslides, or like in 2023 earlier, we had an over 30-year high for the snowpack. And there were a lot of fears of flooding and what that might do. So there are some extreme things to be aware of in regards to natural disasters. Now, earthquakes also hit that list, but maybe if you're coming from an area where there are hurricanes or tornadoes, it's not quite the same as those areas. So consider all of these points when thinking about a move to California. Despite all of these 10 facts that might not be overly positive, if you're making enough money and you're moving into a city that you can afford, then California is one of the best places to live between the weather and the proximity to the beach, to world-class skiing, to the wine country, to over 9 national parks just here in California, up to 33 national park sites just in the state of California. Yes, so many great things about the state, but other things that you just need to be aware of to consider making a move here. I hope you found this information helpful. If you did, please like or comment below. And if you're looking and moving into the Bay Area or Silicon Valley of San Jose, I would love to connect with you. We love working with our YouTube viewers to help them find the right neighborhood and home for them. My contact information is below. Thank you.